हो गई है पीर पर्वत सी पिघलनी चाहिए, इस हिमालय से कोई गंगा निकलनी चाहिए। मेरे सीने में नहीं तो तेरे सीने में सही, हो कहीं भी आग लेकिन आग जलनी चाहिए। Hello, namaskar, vanakkam, sat sri akal. It's quiz time. I will not mince my words. It's a big day. The fire within is bigger, and why not? The occasion is the biggest yet. Welcome to the national final of BusinessLine's Cerebration 2021. One of India's premier corporate quiz championship in what promises to become a beautiful culmination to this pedestal of knowledge in its 18th edition. And I am Ajay Punya, proudly hosting this completely virtual edition. In its preliminary rounds that lasted a week, over 6,000 corporate executives, business professionals, B-School students, and MBA aspirants participated from all across the country. Today, in our fourth and final week of competition, in the national final, the mantra that participants will follow is bloom today and brag forever. Today's competition brings with it an opportunity to win the most coveted intellectual title and take home prize money worth rupees 1.5 lakhs. The winner collects the prize of rupees 75,000. First runner-up wins rupees 50,000 and second runner-up gets rupees 25,000. As delightful as those numbers sound, the level of competition will be priceless. They showcase their mettle in the prelims, prove their ability in the regionals, and now they will rise to the occasion that the final demands. As participant, or should I say, national finalist number one, from EY, winning in Delhi, a victory he had to toil hard for, is Ayush Awasthi. Joining him is our winner from Kochi, perhaps the most comfortable victory of the 6 regionals. From Q Collective is Jameer, KB. Then, as national finalist number 3, winning in Chennai is Jayakanthan R from TCS. Also from TCS, but emerging from the depths to claim the tag of Hyderabad winner is Kapinjal Chaudhary. Prevailing over what arguably was one of the finest performances amongst all regional rounds, doing just about enough to stake claim as Mumbai winner is Shantanu Sharma from IIT Gandhinagar. And finally, as others around him kept committing a comedy of errors, emerged a player who just kept batting on and on. Our national finalist from Bengaluru is a tech consultant, Yogesa Metla. Welcome, all of you. I hope you're all feeling good about yourselves today. Before I begin this battle of the toughest and smartest of minds, I would like to invite Mr. Raghuveer Srinivasan, editor, BusinessLine, to address and welcome our participants and audiences. Sir, please.
Hello and welcome to the finals of the BL Cerebration quiz, now in its 18th edition. This year, due to the demands of the pandemic, we are doing this event virtually. It used to be a physical event not too long ago. Cerebration reflects BusinessLine's profile, its philosophy and its psyche of pursuing knowledge. Or if you have been following our newspaper, you would have realized that BusinessLine is a deep paper with analytical articles, thought-provoking ideas, and a lot of deeply researched stuff in it. So Cerebration is pretty much a reflection of BusinessLine's core philosophy. This year we had a tremendous response despite being an online event, and also given the pandemic, we still had an exceptional response. We got over 6,000 people taking the initial test, and they qualified for 6 regional rounds. The regional rounds were held in Chennai, Kochi, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Delhi, and Mumbai. As always with Cerebration, the quizzing was intense, highly competitive, with some of the sharpest brains vying for the winning post. And the winners from these challenging regional rounds are now today, competing with each other in the national finals. Sit back, enjoy, and start your gray matter working again, trying to answer some of the challenging questions that our quiz master is going to pose to you. You will enjoy, I can assure you, and also go back with tremendous knowledge from this final event today. I wish to thank you all, the audience, the participants, and of course, the sponsors without whose support this would not have been possible. Let's start another grueling quiz session.
Thank you, sir. May I now invite Mr. Suresh Balakrishna, Chief Revenue Officer, the Hindu Group, to take the stage.
Welcome to the 18th edition of the BusinessLine Cerebration Quiz. Firstly, am I glad that I'm not even attempting to participate in this quiz, because this quiz is for super intelligent quizzers. I was there in one of the elimination rounds and I was witnessing it. And I can tell you, I couldn't answer a single question in all the whatever 30, 40, 50 questions that the quiz master asked. So am I glad that I'm not part of this? Having said that, some extremely intelligent people have participated. More than 6,000 people actually wrote into us, and we had an elimination, and then we had rounds city-wise in each of the 6 cities. And finally, one winner from each city is now going to participate in the final. It's going to be a power-packed final, each one better than the other. And these are all very, very high-level quizzers. And the questions are also very, very tough. But that is what BusinessLine is all about, right? It's about being the intellectual powerhouse that it is. So it fits in very well with the brand BusinessLine. We're happy to have done this quiz for so many years, and we are glad our sponsors have supported us, and we will continue to do this quiz as long as there are quizzers out there who are willing to participate, and there are viewers like you willing to tune in and listen. So best of luck to all the 6 of them, and may the best man win.
Right, may the best man win. So that's been laid out. Those are the expectations that all the organizers and me also personally are hoping for. May the best person win. Thank you, sir. I would request all of you now to join me in appreciating and acknowledging our partners whose support helped make the Cerebration Corporate Quiz 2021 possible. Our title sponsor, the Union Bank of India. The program is powered by CFA Institute. It's brought to you in association with Manage Engine, and our associate partner is BSE IPF. Thank you all. And now I would request, and it gives me great privilege to welcome on stage Shri Nitesh Ranjan, Executive Director, Union Bank of India, to take the stage and address our participants.
Namaskar. Good morning, everyone. First of all, thank you to the Hindu BusinessLine for giving Union Bank of India yet another year of opportunity to sponsor this event. It is my proud privilege to speak this morning to the inquisitive minds who are participating in the national final, the grand finale of the Hindu BusinessLine Cerebration Quiz 2021. My compliments to 6 finalists, and as I heard, out of the total 6,000 participants, these are the 6 finalists in the fray for the coveted title. I also appreciate many others, all the 6,000 participants who took part in this Cerebration Quiz, and those who participated also in the regional rounds with full enthusiasm. Compliments also to versatile quiz master, Mr. Ajay Punia. While speaking at this occasion, it is also a bit nostalgic for professionals like us, having done similar kind of things in our school days and college days. And I wish that Hindu BusinessLine and Mr. Punia, they can come together and they can have similar kind of events for the professional at the mid and the senior career in various organizations. That will be very, very interesting. Lot of credit goes to the Hindu BusinessLine group for keeping the tradition of quiz going. It's an honor for us at Union Bank of India for being associated with this quiz for past many years. We are a 102-year young bank. We want to promote the zeal amongst our youth, the youth of our country, for knowledge, for the quest of knowledge. Young minds are today reshaping our country, and they will take us for a long haul in every sphere of business and profession. It is the age of knowledge and technology. A new revolution is today underway in every sector, be it education, be it media, be it health, finance, transport, logistics, you name any. And this revolution is being highly influenced by new and emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotic processes, and the blockchain. I'm thrilled that many of you are part of this journey. I got the opportunity to do Google search about the 6 finalists, and very happy to note that many of them have been part of various quiz programs in the past, and they are really in quest of knowledge and disseminating that knowledge. All of you, in one way or the other, are part of transformation that would make our India a $5 trillion economy, which would also mean over $1 trillion of digital economy. And a part of that digital economy today, we are witnessing that despite the pandemic, we are able to do this quiz over the past many days, and today we are reaching the finale online. Technology has evolved from providing just a simple search engine to a very specific recommendations of products and services based on user data. Now today there is an age of hyper-personalization for every sector, and more particularly in areas like finance, which I belong to. The internet today knows more about you than your best friend. We leave so much of our footprints, digital footprints on social media, that the social media knows more about us than anybody else. As an end user, it has become very simple and easily accessible. But many minds like you are working hard for making this possible for the next level. Dear young minds, the road to success is exciting, but also has many challenges. You might have to take risks to remain relevant with this time, changing times. We should not be complacent with what we have achieved. Always strive to do better and become better as a student, as a professional, and overall as a human being. Since these are young minds participating here, and sports is very close to the young minds, I would like to take you to the Olympic, which has just concluded. And many of our sports persons have made our nation proud with their achievements. Should they now rest on the medal and laurels that they have secured? Absolutely not. They have already started preparing for the next tournament, improving on their style, their approach, so that they can emerge winner again with better outcomes. Mirabai Chanu, our silver medal winning weightlifter, is now preparing to face extraordinary Chinese competitors. She lost to one of the Chinese competitors. She is very good in some of the techniques like jerk in weightlifting. But as I read, she needs to improve in snatch technique to beat her competitors. It is not easy to change technique when you are at the top. Nobody wants to take risk when the person is at the top. I'm sharing this story to narrate what her coach said, which is very relevant for every one of us, irrespective of our field of business or profession or even studies. Mr. Vijay Sharma, her coach said, and I quote, "At this stage, it is difficult for an Olympic medalist to change her technique. But if you don't do it, we will stay at the position where we are now. If we don't try, we won't improve. We have to do this to stay on the top, unquote. Friends, this is true for every aspect of life. We have to continuously improve ourselves, continuously update our knowledge, and continuously learn. Then only we can remain relevant with the times, which is changing very, very fast. We should be ambitious, have good appetite for taking calculated risks. There will be one person today who will be the winner, number one prize. However, I believe all of you are finalists today are the winners because you are participating wholeheartedly, despite your commitment at your studies, at your jobs, and making this Hindu Business Line Celebration Quiz 2021 a very success, and keeping the tradition of knowledge dissemination going through this process. My best wishes to each one of you for the grand finale. Thank you. Best wishes once again. Stay safe and keep happy yourself. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm sure our participants greatly appreciate the words of wisdom that you've just shared with us. Now, coming up next on your screens, I request Mr. Vidhu Shekhar, Country Head India, CFA Institute, to address the gathering. Sir, please.
We are happy to support the Hindu Business Line Cerebration Quiz this year. Congratulations and best wishes to all the regional winners. CFA Institute's mission is to lead the investment profession globally by setting the highest standards of ethics, education, and professional excellence for the ultimate benefit of society. CFA program is the gold standard for investment education, and we are really excited to be associated with one of the best quiz programs in India. All the best once again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Coming up next, on your screens, may I request Mr. Ajay Kumar KG, Head of Global Marketing Manage Engine, to address the gathering.
Good morning, everyone. I am Ajay Kumar. I drive the global marketing initiatives for Manage Engine. We are the Enterprise IT Management Division of Zoho Corporation with headquarters in the US, but built from the ground up from Namma, Chennai. We are happy to be a part of the Hindu Business Line's Cerebration 2021. One of the premier quizzing events in our country. It is good to see corporate executives, business professionals, and B-school students fight it out for the coveted title at Cerebration. A quizzing event like this is a great distraction for an audience like us. It helps us take off time from work, and yet it makes an excellent corporate and business learning session. I'm sure the finalists sitting here today have been through a test of skill and nerves at the prelims and regional levels, and are definitely geared up for today's grand finale. No matter who takes home the title, all of you deserve to be called winners. Your never give up attitude has brought you this far. So keep holding on to it and fight your way to victory. In many ways, the attitude of not giving up has been the driving force at Zoho. Since we started out 25 years back building software for business and IT. Today, Manage Engine powers the IT of over 180,000 organizations across the globe, including 9 of every 10 Fortune 100 companies. Before I sign off and go back to my tub of popcorn to watch this nail-biting finale, I want to thank the quiz master and my namesake, Ajay Punia, and thank the Hindu group for continuously bringing such brain teasers. Thank you everyone, and my hearty congratulations to all the finalists.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, all of you, to all our partners. Thank you for helping the Cerebration Corporate Quiz 2021 see light of the day. And now, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. 6 top contenders from 6 different parts of the country battle head to head for the title of the champion. 4 rounds of quizzing, each with its own problems, patterns, and points. The first of them guarantees the adrenaline rush brought by thinking on your feet. As this is a quick fire, let's begin. Round 1, out of the 4 rounds is called Truth Seeker 2.0. We played a format of Truth Seeker in the semis. We've upgraded the format. You collected lots of points in the first round, in the regional rounds, and now you still can collect a lot of points, but you'll have to work slightly harder. And I'm sure none of you mind, because you're all true competitors, true challengers to the title of the champion. So this is how it goes. There will be 8 statements that you will get on the buzzer. 15 seconds of time per statement. Identify whether the given statement is true or false. That's all that you need to do, and a little more, which is why it's called 2.0. If the statement is true and if you identify it correctly, you get +5, but if you get it wrong, you get a -5. And I move on to the next person on the buzzer, who will obviously tell me that it's false, but that's not where you get your freebies. You also have to tell me why is it false and how will you correct it. Right? If you're the first person on the buzzer, if the statement is false, you're the first person on the buzzer, you get +10 if you're right, -5 if you're wrong. The second, get 8, third, get 6, 4, 2, and so on, right? So that's the order. 2 points diminish from your possible total score on the question for every pass that the question goes through. If you only identify that the statement is false, but do not tell me why and how can you correct it, you still get a -5, right? Only, my sincere advice is only if you know that what the right answer is, how can you make it correct? If you absolutely know everything about the statement, only then would I recommend you to hit the buzzer and tell me that, okay, this is false and this is the reason why it is false. If you do that, depending on the order of hitting the buzzer, I will tell you whether you get 10, 8, 6, 4, or 2. I hope that is clear to all our participants. We will start with our first question. On your screen, the Cerebration Corporate Quiz 2021 National Final, question number 1. Aiming for wow as a design philosophy was coined by American architect Louis Sullivan. It is the pervading law of all things organic and inorganic, of all things physical and metaphysical, of all things human and all things superhuman, of all true manifestations of the head, of the heart, of the soul, that the life is recognizable in its expression. That is aiming for wow. This is the law, goes the quote. True or false? If false, why? 15 seconds of time, half of them diminished already. If it's true and you identify it correctly, you get a +5, but if it's false, I also need you to. On the buzzer in the nick of time is Yogesa Metla. Yes, Yogesa?
I'm just going to go for true because this is way too abstract.
You're going to go for true because you think this is way too abstract. All right, let's see if that is correct. How many points, if at all? The right answer is false because this is actually form follows function. Right? So an extremely alliterative answer. So this is false because it's form follows function given by the American architect Louis Sullivan. And just as a matter of fact, if you were really keen on who said aiming for wow, it was actually Milton Glaser, who you perhaps know for designing, the logos of DC Comics, I Love New York, etc. And he said there are 3 responses to a piece of design: yes, no, and wow. Wow is the one to aim for, right? So it was Milton Glaser, but in this case, I was looking for form follows function. I'm afraid, Yogesa, you start with a negative. That's a -5, long way to go. Lots of points to be won. You've done that previously. If I remember correctly, your first round wasn't that amazing for you, and you came back into the quiz when it mattered the most. That is towards the twilight of it. All right, we'll move on now to our second statement of the first round. Here it is on your screen now. PAN is the most common financial document with individuals for initiating most financial transactions in India. But if you want to be a subscriber to the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, you would require a 12-digit PRAN. True or false? If false, why? On the buzzer is Kapinjal from TCS. Yes, Kapinjal?
I suppose it's true.
You think this is true? I'm afraid, Kapinjal, that is incorrect, which means it's a -5 to you. Still waiting for others to take it. Of course, you know this is false, but you still have to tell me why this is false. If you want an 8, anyone? All right, so we do have the next person on the buzzer, and that is Yogesa. Yes, Yogesa? Please unmute and answer.
I'm guessing the P is for pension and not Jandan.
The P is for... So,
Pran.
okay, just tell me whether the statement is true or false.
It's false. It's false.
It's false. And why?
I remember the Pran being for pensions and not for the Jandan Yojana.
All right, let's take a look. There's nobody else on the buzzer, so we'll have to close it here. The right answer is indeed correct. That's the answer. So the P is not for pension. The P still stands for permanent, but the R is for retirement. So it's permanent retirement account number for the national pension scheme, if you want to be a part of it, or even the Atal Pension Yojana. Had you given that, I would have, as long as the word pension is there, I would have considered, and which is exactly what I've done in the case of Yogesa. So that's well done. 8 points to Yogesa and a -5 to Kapinjal. This question was brought to you by our partners, CFA Institute. Thank you to them. Right, we'll move on now to our third statement. These are all publications by All India Trade Union Congress. True or false? If false, why? Right. 4 publications, English and Hindi. True or false? Who's going for it? No one, right? So the clock has run out and nobody's shown any interest. But if, somebody had to take a guess for no points, come on.
It's by the communists, I think. The communist trade union, not the Congress trade union.
It's by the Communist Trade Union and not the Congress Trade Union. All right, let's take a look. The right answer is Center of Indian Trade Unions and not by AITUC. They completed 50 years of their existence, of their foundation last year. And I thought it was somewhat appropriate to have them here. Right, so this was CITU, Center of Indian Trade Unions, not the All India Trade Union Congress. No points, anyone? We'll move on now to our fourth statement. Here is number 4. After being in the works for 6 years, last month, this 12-meter long pedestrian bridge was launched in the De Wallen area of Amsterdam. Made of 4,500 kilograms of stainless steel, it is the world's first 3D printed steel bridge. True or false? On the buzzer first is Shantanu from IIT Gandhinagar.
I think this is true.
You think this is true? Let's take a look at the answer. The right answer is indeed correct. That's the answer. This is indeed true. So we now have the world's first 3D printed steel bridge. It's 12 meters long in Amsterdam. That's well done, Shantanu. That gets you 5 points. 5 points there to Shantanu from IIT Gandhinagar. We move on now to our next question. Second half of the first round. Question number 5. Originating in Italy during the twilight years of the Renaissance, the EU now has about 80 free ports. Post-Brexit England announced 8 of them in this year's budget after dissolving them 9 years ago after a 28-year run in 7 different locations. True or false? If false, why? Come on, somebody, go for it. Nobody's showing any interest as the clock is running down and the time is up. The right answer that I was looking for. Anybody had to go for it? What would you say? You can establish your reputation by trying to, give right answers, even if you're not collecting, at least for later rounds. If you recall, how round 2 was last time, perhaps people would be really interested in taking your help if needed, if you establish some reputation. No? All right, nobody wants to establish. I think they've all winners from their region, so perhaps they feel that they've already established enough reputation. So let me not waste too much time on this. Let's take a look at the answer. The answer is indeed true, right? So there's free ports that are coming. Post-Brexit England recently announced in their budget this year that after having gotten rid of them, they will have another set of free ports, in fact 7 of them, right? So we'll move on to our next question. This is question number 6. These are posters available as souvenirs at the Karl Marx House Museum in Trier, Germany, where he spent the first 17 years of his life. True or false? If false, why? On the buzzer is Shantanu from IIT Gandhinagar.
I'll say false.
Why?
Because these are signs that are used by there for traffic purposes. So on traffic light, Germany has a distinct thing that for example, red would mean stop, green would mean move. So these are the traffic symbols used in traffic lights and not used as posters.
All right, let's take a look. He thinks this is false and it's pedestrian crossing, street crossings. That is correct. That's the answer. Good answer there, Shantanu. That's a +10 first on the buzzer. Very good answer. It is indeed false. So although the graphics perhaps sort of look like coasters or just posters, but essentially they were replicating the pedestrian street crossings, which now, you know, it's okay to have fun on the street, display some iconic character or iconic personality, not character per se, but personality from your town. And they've included that in the pedestrian street crossings in Trier, which is where he spent 17 years of his life, Karl Marx. We move on now, 10 points to Shantanu, to our next question, that is number 7. Take a good look at the visual. Representing life and prosperity, India Tourism Development Corporation Limited's logo that represents ship, mast and anchor was derived from this coin minted during Samudragupta's reign. True or false? If false, why? Keep looking at the visual and of course the text. ITDC's logo that represents ship, mast and anchor, 2 seconds left, derived from the coin minted during Samudragupta's logo. On the buzzer is Jameer. Yes, Jameer?
Okay, this is false because this is India Trade Development Corporation's logo.
This is, sorry, whose logo?
India Trade Development Corporation's logo.
I'll have to request you to say that again.
India Trade Development Corporation's logo. Trade.
Trade development. All right. Yeah. So you're saying it's the Trade Development Corporation, and you don't think this is India Tourism Development Corporation's logo. Yeah. All right. Let's take a look. There's nobody else on the buzzer. The right answer is ITPO indeed. Absolutely. I will give that to you. The key word there was really trade, and the other development is promotion, corporation is organization. That's fine. I've come to conduct this quiz in a fairly, good mood, and I hope me being slightly lenient with points, just like I did with Yogesa as well. He thought P for pension, but it was essentially R for retirement. That was the different thing. But more or less, as long as you get the essence of the answer correct, I'll give you points. So this wasn't ITDC, but ITPO, which is the India Trade Promotion Organization. And I've also highlighted where the logo is derived from. So that's well done, Jameer. +10. Very good quizzing. I think you've registered your presence on the scoreboard. Now we will move on to our next question. This is the final question of the first round. Here it is on your screen now. She is Vanessa Rupani from Alabama, who submitted the winning entry, Perseverance, in NASA's Name the Rover contest last year. True or false? If false, why? Come on, take a chance, take a guess. Give me your best guess. 2 seconds. Right, somebody's hit the buzzer, and this is Jayakanthan. Yes, Jayakanthan from TCS.
Yeah, I think this is true.
You think this is true? I'm afraid, Jayakanthan, that's not the right answer. That's a -5. And Yogesa, too late. Can't allow you to press the buzzer now. That's it. That brings us to the end of this round. Of course, I have to declare the answer why this is false. But hopefully Yogesa will tell us.
This is the helicopter.
This is the helicopter. What is the name? The helicopter contest.
Yeah.
And do you have a name for the helicopter?
Is it the same thing, Perseverance?
Oh, you're saying it's not the rover, but the helicopter. All right, let's take a look. Jayakanthan, this was incorrect, so that's a -5 to you. Let's take a look at what the right answer is. No points, of course, to Yogesa for this, but this is Ingenuity, the helicopter. But she did submit her entry as Perseverance in NASA's Name the Rover contest last year. They parked the name, they liked the name, they said perhaps we'll use it sometime. And so they decided to use the name Ingenuity in the helicopter, as Yogesa said, but she didn't suggest the name Perseverance. That was by somebody else. Another teenager called Alexander Mather, he suggested the name Perseverance, and his entry was finalized for NASA's Name the Rover contest. She, on the other hand, suggested Ingenuity, which was the more recent helicopter that took a brief flight on the surface of Mars. Right, so that's a -5 there, Jayakanthan. That brings us to the end of round 1. The national final, living up to the billing. Some bit of jitters, some nerves, and of course, some wonderful answers coming. The hype that it so deserves. Seems to me a couple of our participants have already established their names on the scoreboard against their names. Right, scores as follows. Ayush, a qualifier from Delhi, still to open his account. Jameer, a qualifier from Kochi, currently at 10. Jayakanthan, unfortunately missing out on that last question, gets some -5. Kapinjal from Hyderabad also on -5. Shantanu from Mumbai getting 2 correct answers. As a result, he is on 15. And Yogesa from Bangalore got an 8 and then got a -5, so which means he is at 3. So those are the scores after the end of round 1. But at this point, it's an evenly spread battlefield is what we are witnessing today. All participants, giving themselves a good chance and fighting for an early advantage, an advantage that I hope will keep them in good stead as the Cerebration train picks up pace before its next halt. This is round 2 now, and it is called A Friend in Need. A quick note to all, since this round is a short one, we won't be doing a score check after this round, but we'll do that later. This is Jayakanthan's direct? Yes, it is. Jayakanthan, this is your direct question, 2-part question. Everybody else on the buzzer. Reminder, please give complete answer if you want to help out Jayakanthan. Otherwise, Jayakanthan would perhaps be left with no choice but to reject it. All right, here is your question. Climate change is real, and so is the need to reverse it. This is not news to any of us. And I know we all want to make a difference. But the question is, how do we reverse climate change and also advance our development as a nation together? This is how a recent blog post titled A Revolution That Made in India for the World began. Who wrote it and on what occasion? All right, Jayakanthan, you do have available coming from Ayush from EY, if you want it, that is. Otherwise, you can answer for +10, -5. Jayakanthan, I would request you to unmute yourself.
Yeah, so I can hear the answer and then decide, right?
You can reject it, but you can't change the answer.
No, I can. He will be saying the answer and then I can accept or reject it.
Yeah, then you can accept or reject after listening to the answer. Jayakanthan,
okay.
Yeah. So do you want help?
Let me, sorry.
Do you need help?
No, I'll just think a little bit.
No, too much time.
Okay.
Do you want help?
I'll take help, yeah.
All right, Ayush, your answer. Both parts, please.
I think this is the CEO of Renew Power. So Renew Power had an IPO recently.
Okay, so your answer is who wrote it? CEO of Renew Power, and on the occasion of the IPO.
Of Renew Power in US.
Yeah, of course. Right, Jayakanthan, accept or reject, you cannot change it.
Okay, I'll accept it.
You will accept it. All right, I'm afraid that is incorrect. So that's a -5 to both of you. I will move on to the next person on the buzzer, and that is Yogesa. Yes, Yogesa?
I'm guessing this is Bhavish, the Ola, and the occasion was releasing the electric scooter, Ola's electric scooter.
Bhavish, and the occasion is launch of Ola's electric scooter. There's nobody else after you, so I will have to close this and take a look at the answer. The right answer that I was looking for is indeed Bhavish Agarwal at the launch of Ola scooters on 15th of August. So very recent blog post, that was the occasion. That's well done there, Yogesa. A +5 to you, but a -5 to Ayush, Avasti, and Jayakanthan. -5 to the both of you. Jayakanthan, you accepted a wrong answer, so I will have to give you a negative, and Ayush, you gave a wrong answer. That's a negative to you as well. But Yogesa, that's absolutely perfect. +5. I wish I could have given you more, but I can't. Right? My hands are tied. Okay, well done there, Yogesa. That's a +5. All right, to our next participant, that is also from TCS, Kapinjal. Kapinjal, if you're ready. Kapinjal?
Yeah, yes.
All right, just wanted to hear your lovely voice. Okay, here is your question, Kapinjal. Everybody else on the buzzer, again a two-part question. In the 1880s, this French anthropologist created a portrait of himself, creating a format of recording the length of arm, feet, and ear while describing the hair and eye color, plus a few more details. This was the standard format for what anthropometric technique, which still exists, but plays second fiddle to what impressionable tool? So two-part question, Kapinjal, you do have help available from Ayush.
Okay, okay, I will take his help.
All right, Ayush, you are needed. Quick, Ayush.
Yes, so I'll say the anthropometric technique is a mugshot.
Okay. And plays second fiddle to what impressionable tool?
It's fingerprints.
Okay. Kapinjal, you heard his answer. Accept or reject?
I will reject his answer.
You will reject. Kapinjal, may I ask why? Before I move on to the next person on the buzzer.
I don't know. He didn't seem, confident enough.
He didn't seem confident enough. Oh God, Ayush, personal question. I hope you don't mind divulging. Ayush, are you into poker?
No.
Oh, no. All right. That gives Kapinjal a case there. All right. So like I said, before I move on to the next person on the buzzer, but I don't need to. That is correct. That's the answer, Ayush. Right. Good that Ayush doesn't play poker. He still has that experience of, perhaps tricking other participants into believing I have absolutely no clue of the answer. And perhaps Kapinjal fell for this at his own peril. So this is indeed mugshot is what I was looking for. He is Alphonse Bertillon, who was the person who created the portrait, which basically means speaking portrait. And this was, as I said, this was the standard format for, what anthropometric technique, recording everything, hair color, etc., to identify whether you're a repeat offender or not. It still is used. Mugshots are still being used, but not considered to be the final tool, final point of confirmation, because it plays second fiddle to what impressionable tool? Fingerprints. Absolutely, very well worked out there, Ayush. That's a +5 to you and a -5 to Kapinjal. Some interest coming from other participants on the buzzer, but obviously doesn't pass. So +5 Ayush, -5 Kapinjal. We move on now to our next participant, and that is Ayush.
Yes.
All right, Ayush, here is your question while everybody else on the buzzer. The two business families had close ties with each other, with some members of the families tying the knot and going to elementary school together. While family X had its origin in sugar refinery, family Y started out with dry goods and cosmetics. And 12 years after Y entered a business, in 1969, X entered it too. This angered Y and their ties severed, including a joint venture. Since then, the two businesses have fought on shared turfs, with the media dubbing it Star Wars. My question, what are the two businesses and why the name Star Wars? Where does the name Star Wars come from? So 3 answers. Tell me the two warring factions and tell me how do you arrive at the name Star Wars? Quick, 7 seconds. Ayush, no help coming, so you can go for it if you want. No negatives. Quick, Ayush. 3 seconds.
I'll say these are the Murdoch family and the Fox group. So,
okay, and why Star Wars?
Because they own the Star trademark. So.
Oh, they own the Star trademark. Okay. Good try though, good, very well tried. Unfortunately, that isn't correct. The answer that I was looking for is Samsung and LG, the Lee and the Koo family, the Lee family of Samsung and the Koo family of LG. Samsung means 3 stars in Korean, and the origins of LG, G was originally for Gold Star, and of course, that's how you get the name Star Wars, right? So the two chaebols of South Korea. Unfortunately, Ayush, you don't get any points on this one, but you don't lose any either, and nobody else gets anything. So we move on to our next question, that is to Yogesa. Yogesa, if you're ready. Yogesa, I need you to unmute yourself. Please keep that in mind.
Yeah.
That's a message, public service announcement to all participants. All right, participant service announcement. Bad pun. Next question. Here is your question, Yogesa. In 1945, this artist created a lithograph that you see on the left. With each successive print, a bull is simplified and abstracted. The artist's endeavor was to find spirit of the beast. Inspired by him, saying no and finding the essence became key to the company's strategy. Thus, the artist was given a hat tip in their iconic ad campaign, a visual from the campaign you can see on the right, alongside other icons of the 20th century. My question, who's the artist and which ad campaign? When you answer the ad campaign, I don't just need you to tell me the company, tell me the campaign also, right? And also tell me the artist. You have help available coming from Jayakanthan, if you're interested, Yogesa.
Okay, I'll take help.
You'll take help. Jayakanthan, please.
Yeah, I think this is Picasso and Apple's Think Different campaign.
Yogesa, you heard the answer?
Sorted. I'll go with him.
Sorted, and you go with it. Your eyes lit up when you heard that answer. All right, let's take a look. There's nobody else on the buzzer. So we will see what the answer is. That is indeed correct. Absolutely. There was one, there's a moment where Picasso also appears with his bull, as I showed you in the visual. This is indeed Picasso, and the Think Different campaign, which featured many other iconic figures from the 20th century. Closer home, there was Gandhi in there too. Do take a look at the campaign. Played a, perhaps commentators say that it played a major role in the transformation of the company. Anyway, of course, there are others to credit for that too. 5 points to you, and Jayakanthan, that's 5 points to you. Yogesa, do you have a message?
Thanks, bro.
Bro, okay, we've turned on the bro mode here. Okay. All right, we'll move on to our next question. That's number 5. This will be a direct for Jameer. Jameer, if you are ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, Jameer, you don't have to hit the buzzer. You seem to be in a very active pose. So, right, here is your question. Everybody else on the buzzer, if you're interested in helping out Jameer, or also if you don't want to help him out, you still have to hit the buzzer well within 20 seconds. Here is your question, Jameer. While there are many theories for this, there is no clear reason for why a certain mode of transport includes a certain feature. Some reasons include it helps wheelchair-bound people to move easily. People thought the speed of the transport was slow, so the manufacturers included it to distract them, and it helped people who had claustrophobia. What transport and what is this feature? Helps wheelchair-bound people to move about easily. People thought the speed is slow, and so it was included to distract them, and helps people who had claustrophobia. Right, Jameer, there's nobody interested in helping you out, so if you want to give an answer, do that. No negatives.
So I think these are cars with an open.
Cars with open top. Okay, let's take a look at what the answer is. There's nobody else trying to help you with that. So I will close this. The answer that I was looking for is mirrors in elevators. This is mirrors in elevators to help, the mode of transport. Perhaps that got you thinking in the wrong direction, but you also move vertically in certain modes of transports. You can ask my friends Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk about that. But I was looking at elevators as another mode of transport. Helps people who have claustrophobia. You have things to do. That's how you're distracted. And wheelchair-bound people, because it has mirrors all around, you can sort of move about if you want to enter and exit. Right? That's the answer that I was looking for. Hard luck, Jameer. Turned out to be difficult for everyone, as it turns out. No negatives to anyone, no positives to anyone. And to the final question of round number 2. Here it is on your screen. This is for Shantanu. Shantanu, if you're ready.
Yes, sir.
All right, Shantanu, here is your question. A list of first US presidents to ride. Railroad train, 1833, Andrew Jackson. The reason? It was a pleasure trip. Automobile, 1899, William McKinley in a Stanley steamer. Reason? He was invited for a joyride by Freeland Stanley, one of the founders of Stanley Steamer. Airplane, 1943, Franklin Roosevelt to Casablanca to meet Winston Churchill and flew to avoid the German U-boats. And finally, please tell me who was the first US president to ride in an electric motor vehicle, and also tell me why. Right. Shantanu, you do have help available coming from Jayakanthan if you want.
I would like to listen to his.
All right, Jayakanthan, your answer, please unmute.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is Joe Biden, and when he was given that Ford electric vehicle to pickup truck to us and to demonstrate, they generally gave him and he went really fast in it.
All right, Shantanu, you heard the answer. He says Joe Biden and the Ford electric car. What was the occasion you said, Jayakanthan, once more time?
They were basically launching it and they were giving it to him to test ride.
All right, they were launching and giving it to him for test ride. Shantanu, accept or reject?
I would like to reject.
Why, may I ask?
No, nothing. Just 50-50.
No reason, just gut feel or something?
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Let's take a look. There's nobody else on the buzzer, so I will close this. The right answer that I was looking for was already there in the list that I gave you, was William McKinley. When he was shot, eventually he was assassinated as a result of which, but he was shot, and he was shot in a New York fair, the Pan American Exposition, and the theme of the fair was exploring the idea of electricity and how it could become mainstream. We're talking just at the turn of the 20th century, so we're talking September 1901. So it was the ambulance that carried him to the Pan American Exposition's hospital after he was shot on September 6, 1901. Few days later, he passed away. So this was the reason that I was really looking for, is when he was assassinated, he was taken to the hospital in the electric motor vehicle. So this was William McKinley. That's well done, Shantanu, on rejecting that answer. Whatever gut feel you had or whatever reasoning you had, that totally worked out in your favor. So you don't get any negatives. But Jayakanthan, I'm afraid that's a -5 to you. I hope all our viewers are enjoying the action that is unfolding in the national final. For our participants, certainly it's an experience to be cherished, an obsession to be fulfilled, and an addiction to be satisfied. Just 6 questions, so we won't take a look at the scores right now, as I said earlier, but halfway into the quiz, we'll take a breather and thank our partners that bring to you the Hindu BusinessLine Cerebration Corporate Quiz 2021, our title sponsor, Union Bank of India. The program is powered by CFA Institute. It's brought to you in association with Manage Engine, and our associate partner is BSE IPF. Thank you to each one of you. Onwards, we march now to our second half of the program. It's round 3, and it is called Saving Grace. This round is brought to you by our partners, Union Bank of India, which means this round focuses on banking, economics, and big picture power shifts that we see in our world. Here is question number 1. It's on the buzzer, +10 and -5. I hope you've been paying attention to what we've been doing, in this quiz. Here is question number 1. Pursued because of possible applications to global nuclear strategy, in 1950, Rand Corporation mathematicians Melvin Drescher and Merrill Flood demonstrated that a recently released one-page paper in the multidisciplinary PNAS would not necessarily be a good predictor of behavior. What Nobel and Abel Prize winners' work were they building on? And perhaps you saw it in action very recently. On the buzzer first is Jayakanthan.
Yeah, I'm guessing this is Nash of the National Equilibrium, Beautiful Mind and all that.
Okay, I gave a hint there and I said, and you saw it in action very recently. What does that mean, Jayakanthan?
Not sure about that part.
You weren't really paying attention to this quiz, is it? We'll see what the answer is. The answer is indeed John Nash. Rand demonstrated it through Prisoner's Dilemma. This is John Nash's. The paper was the wonderful classic 1950 paper, was titled Equilibrium Points in N-Person Games. Was just a one-pager, and it's said to be a prelude or an inspiration to lots of different fields, the field of economics, social sciences, and many others. And Jayakanthan, the clue that I gave, and you saw it in action very recently, was the previous round. The previous round was essentially Nash's equilibrium, +5, -5. What is the incentive that is offered? So I thought that perhaps I should put a meta question. Oh, nobody but me. I got the joke. Anyway, hopefully you do get it now. Right, thank you, console. That wasn't planned. All right, we'll move on now to, that's 10 points. Jayakanthan, that's well done. My jokes don't matter, but your answers do, as a result of which you get 10 points. We move on now to our next question, that is number 2. Like I said, all these questions are brought to you in this round, are brought to you by our partners, our title sponsor, Union Bank of India. Here is question number 2. As for the big 3 of the industry, there are only 9 nations in this elite list. Denmark, Germany, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Norway, Singapore, Sweden, and Switzerland. A country's presence in this list can be narrowed down to 6 factors: per capita income, GDP growth, inflation, debt, economic development, and history. What exclusive club is it, which featured Canada till last year, so that was number 10, now dropped, and the USA way back in 2011. What exclusive club is this? So like I said, you know the domain of questions because it's backed by our title sponsor. On the buzzer is Yogesa. Yes.
Again, the theme of the round. I'm guessing this is credit ratings.
What does that mean?
So you have your so company that you invest in. So you have the credit ratings, right? You have your AAA, AA, BB, the Moody's, I think. I'm not sure which company.
All right. So what would this elite list have?
Hello?
What would this elite list have? Go on, Yogesa.
AAA credit rating.
Oh, you're saying so these are all countries which have AAA credit ratings. All right. There's nobody else after you on the buzzer, so I'll have to close this. The right answer is indeed AAA rated countries. That's a brilliant answer there coming from Yogesa. Absolutely. So these are the only 9 AAA rated countries that I was looking for. Well done, Yogesa, +10. So big 3 of the industry being the big 3 credit rating agencies, S&P, Moody's, and Fitch. And these are the only 3 countries that are rated AAA, right? As per, all 3 of them. If you extend that to some other rating agencies of the industry, you'll have some more countries finding mention like Australia and the others. But the big 3 do not rate them as AAA. Absolutely brilliant answer there, Yogesa. That's a +10. Very good. And now to our next question. Here is number 3 on your screen. I'm not looking for the person. You can just tell me what is this list of, okay? All right, here is your question. The first was constituted under Srinivas Varadacharya in 1946 and submitted its report in May 1947. The next was under Jagannath Das, then Raghubir Dayal, P.N. Singhal, S. Ratnavil Pandyan, B.N. Sri Krishna, and now under this person on the right, who can be seen submitting his report to Arun Jaitley in 2015. What am I speaking of? On the buzzer is Ayush Avasti. Yes, Ayush?
I'll say this is the Economic Survey of India.
They are the Economic Survey of India. I'm afraid that is incorrect. Next on the buzzer is Jayakanthan. But before I pass to Jayakanthan, Ayush, yes or no? Ayush, quick. Will he answer?
He'll give the correct answer.
He'll give the right answer. Okay, Jayakanthan, some pressure there. What is your answer?
Yes, this is the pay commission.
You will say this is the pay commission. So what is the ongoing one? There's nobody after you, Jayakanthan. So I will spend some time with you on this. So who's the person? What is the ongoing one? Anything you want to say additionally?
Not sure. There have been multiple pay commissions since independence. That's what the question is hinting at. Not sure.
All right. So the answer that I was looking for, you say that these are pay commissions. The answer is indeed correct. So this was the 7th report of the 7th Central Pay Commission, 7th Pay Commission. I'm sorry, that was the report being presented and under Justice A.K. Mathur. So that was Justice A.K. Mathur presenting the 7th Pay Commission report. Ayush, you don't get a negative because you think very highly of Jayakanthan and Jayakanthan didn't let you down there. So that's a +10 Jayakanthan, no negatives to Ayush. Well done, both of you. At least Ayush didn't collect negatives. Right, so 10 points Jayakanthan and nothing to Ayush. We move on to our second half of this round. a round that is brought to you by our title sponsors, Union Bank of India. Here is question number 4. With quotas as the building blocks of its financial and governance structure, which quota-based institution uses the following formula to classify the members' relative position in the world economy? Take a look at the formula and tell me which quota-based institution, which institution am I looking for? I have given you the clues for India as well. Right, so millions of something, there's 13,114. Governor is Nirmala Sitharaman and alternate is Shaktikant Das. Sure, you're all familiar with who these people are. Percent of total is 2.63. The time has run out and there's nobody else there's nobody on the buzzer. Jameer, the buzzer came in too late. I need you to hit the buzzer well within 15 seconds. I won't allow you to give the answer for points though, but not for points, Jameer.
I think this is the IMF.
You think this is the IMF? Let's take a look at the answer. The right answer is indeed IMF, Jameer. I needed you to hit the buzzer earlier. So it's 0.5 times GDP plus 0.3 times openness plus 0.15 times variability and 0.05 times reserves to the power compression factor. So the various country quotas in IMF, India, if you take a look at the visual, is close to 2%. Right? Hard luck, Jameer. You have to be quicker than that. 15 seconds of time is all you have. We move on now to our next question. In this question, you don't need to identify the person, but I need you to tell me what he created or what he coined. Okay? But of course, if you're the last person, and by now you would have gotten used to it, if you're always the last person, I spend some more time with you. But for points, I need you to just tell me what is it that I'm looking for. All right, here is question number 5. A two-word term, XZ, was formally modified to XY, Y being the antonym of Z. By this RBI governor in 2005 and 6 policy statement, he urged banks to relook at their practices to align them with the objective of XY. Recently, RBI unveiled an annual XY index comprising access 35%, usage 45%, and quality 20%. What index? The XY index. You don't have to identify who this former RBI governor is, but you have to tell me what is this index recently unveiled. On the buzzer, we have our first participant, that is Yogesa. Yes, Yogesa?
Because of access, I'm gonna guess XY is, no, XZ is financial inclusion and XY is financial exclusion.
Work that out again.
XZ is financial inclusion, XY is financial exclusion.
So the current index is XY.
So, okay, XY is financial inclusion, XZ is financial exclusion, sorry.
And who's he?
I have no idea, but because of access and usage, so there was this concept of, credit being available to people who actually need it. And he made a joke that said, these guys are actually not giving it to those who need it.
All right, let's take a look. The right answer that I was looking for is indeed correct. This is financial inclusion as the index. So financial inclusion index was there recently as opposed to XZ, which is financial exclusion. And this person is Dr. Y.V. Reddy, who was the governor of RBI at that time. That's a good answer there, Yogesa. That gets you 10 points. The financial inclusion index doesn't really have a base here. So how it works is it basically has these 3 criteria, access, usage, and quality. They did have a financial index, inclusion index that was launched in 2017, but I think I couldn't find too much about it, but I think it was just a one-off. And this year in July, they decided that they'll have it every year. So even though in 2017, the index was, I think, somewhere around 43. And this year, the index is at 53. So that's 10 points. It's a 0 to 100 index. So that's 10 points there that we've increased in terms of financial inclusion. So, of course, we all talk of a world of inclusivity and not too much of exclusivity. And RBI has now made that an index. Right. So this is financial inclusion index. That's 10 points to Yogesa. This question was brought to you by our title sponsor, Union Bank of India, just like the next question. And this is the final question of this round. All right, here is your question. Which company, like others in the industry, has had to limit its production in recent times because of supply chain issues like port congestion, lack of availability of petrochemicals, etc.? Ironically, they found a management strategy in the 1950s that relies on steady production, high quality workmanship, no machine breakdowns, and reliable suppliers when they spotted inefficiencies in a competitor's workflow. Who's gone for it? This is Yogesa who's gone for it. Your answer, Yogesa, which company is this? And with the second part of the statement, I've made it exclusive to one answer. Yes.
I'm guessing it's Toyota's JIT.
Toyota's JIT. What's JIT?
Just in time.
And what is that about?
It's about
see, there's nobody after you, Yogesa, so I will spend some time in conversations with you.
Thank you. So just in time, so you have all your components planned in order so that as soon as one is finished, the next one starts. It's somewhat similar to the Kanban board, which is also what they sort of evolved from it. But yeah, this is what I'm going for.
Let's take a look. Is correct. That's the answer that I was looking for. Good answer there, Yogesa. I think that's back-to-back answers coming from your corner. And wonderful answer there. So this is indeed Toyota. IG Toyota went to, I think in Detroit, one of the factories in Detroit, and he was thoroughly impressed by the way they were running the factory, but he felt there were lots of inefficiencies. They had to have a very large factory because they were storing inventory that was used in production. And so he came back and he decided that we'll have a much smaller factory that takes away a lot of capital expenditure. This model, which is just-in-time manufacturing, if the name isn't enough, essentially relies on steady production, high-quality workmanship, no machine breakdowns, and reliable suppliers. But it is thoroughly and totally dependent on supply chains working efficiently. And as we've seen over the last almost year and a half, 15 odd months, supply chains have been terribly affected thanks to various policies that the governments all over the world have faced. There's lots of port congestion. And I, for one, personally think we aren't taking supply chain issues seriously. So my sincere advice to everyone, buy your Diwali gifts and your Christmas gifts right now. All right, that is curtains. That is curtains to round number 3, a round that was brought to you by our title sponsor. I hope all of you enjoyed this. Our title sponsor, Union Bank of India, who brought this round to you. Are we inching closer and closer towards a tight finish, or are we going to witness the chutzpah of our champion? Who will sign their name on the winner's check? One sneak peek at the scoreboard will now tell us. Let's take a look. And this is what the scoreboard looks like before we head into our final round. Ayush Avasti from Delhi, still to open his account. Jameer from Kochi, currently at 10. Jayakanthan from PCS, currently at 20. Kapinjal from Hyderabad is at a -10. Shantanu from Mumbai, currently at 15. And our leader at this point of time, coming from Bangalore, is Yogesa Metla at 43. All right, so those were the scores. It's a very interesting quiz that is shaping up. While first place, a participant who's currently placed first is some distance away. For the others, this is as close as you would like a national final to be. So here we are in the final session of a season of agony and adulation, pain and pleasure, frustration and fist bumps. This round is called Double Trouble. There will be trouble and it will be double. It is expected to be frantic, but it decides your future in this quiz at least. Let me first begin with showing you what the crossword looks like. So this is the crossword. We will go in order. We will start with one down. It is a 6-letter answer. Reminder, +5 -5 default, +10 -10 if you double. All right, this is question number 1, final round of the national final. One of 33 such para-diplomacy offices in 18 countries, the 21st floor of Indiabulls Finance. On the buzzer is Shantanu from IIT Gandhinagar. Yes, Shantanu?
Like to double it.
You'd like to double. What is your answer?
Quebec.
Quebec. Why would you say that? Which direction my question is headed?
Because you say province and Quebec has 6 letters in it.
All right. And you, in anything about the question that I was talking of, I did say 33 para-diplomacy offices in 18 countries.
Sorry, I did not hear. I saw the visual and
identified it just through the visual. Okay. One of 33 such para-diplomacy offices in 18 countries, the 21st floor of India Bulls Finance Center in Elphinstone Road, Mumbai, serves the mandate of promotion of trade, investment and cooperation in the fields of education and research, science and technology, which is the only province to have its own embassy and even a Ministry of International Relations. Your answer is Quebec. Let's see if that is correct. The right answer is indeed correct. That's the answer. And the fact that you doubled means, Shantanu, that gets you a 10. Right, so that's 10 points there to Shantanu from IIT Gandhinagar. That's a good start. I think you were placed second before we start. No, sorry, you were placed second, but second alone individually. And now that gives you some cushion from those behind you and brings you closer to Yogesa, who was on 43. Okay, don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. All right, but I think that was right. Okay, here is where Quebec is placed as your first answer. We move on now to 2 down. This is 9-letter answer. Nothing's been revealed. 2 down, not 2 letter. 9 letters, 2 down. Here is my question. This agreement's resultant agreement. We already have Ayush who's gone for it on the buzzer. What is the resultant agreement of this agreement? Ayush, your answer. Please unmute. 3 seconds. 2, 1. Closing. -5. Passes to our next person on the buzzer, and that is Shantanu. Yes, Shantanu. Please unmute and answer. And Shantanu, please answer.
Bangladesh.
Your answer is?
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh. I'm afraid that is incorrect as well. So that's -5 to both of you, Shantanu as well as Ayush. You didn't wait for me to ask the question. The question categorically says this agreement's resultant agreement. And my question is, it's still open on the buzzer for the others. The stop, start, stop journey of what agreement is being described here? Launched in 1976, discontinued in 2002, resumed again in 2004, suspended again in 2007, some more disruption till finally ending it in August 2019. Still open on the buzzer. Is anybody interested? We do have the next person on the buzzer, and that is Yogesa. Yes.
I'm not going to double it, obviously. I'm guessing free trade.
Free trade. I'm afraid that is incorrect, Yogesa. That's a -5 to you. So 3 of you collecting negatives. Ayush, Shantanu, and Yogesa. All 3 of you take a -5 each. This agreement's resultant agreement, which had a stop, start, stop journey.
The bus?
Samjhauta.
Is the answer. I think it was Ayush who said Samjhauta, but somebody did say Samjhauta there. So the agreement's resultant agreement, Samjhauta, the word itself means agreement. The agreement in the visual was the Shimla agreement. The Samjhauta experience, express, started as a result of the Shimla agreement, had a start, stop journey. You know, I did hide a lot of clues there. Actually, the clues weren't hidden, let's be honest, but they were pretty overt, right? They weren't covert at all, right? So unfortunately, went for it too early on the buzzer. Shantanu, Ayush, and Yogesa. Yogesa, not too early. You have heard it entirely, but still you get, all 3 of you get a -5. Right, let's place Samjhauta. And we go to 3 across. So there's a 3 down and 3 across. 3 across is the one which has U as its second last alphabet. Okay, it has U as its second last alphabet. 3 across. Here is my question. It is a 7-letter answer on your screen now. Rebranded as what? These potato crisps were taken to court by the British Office of Fair Trading for breaching the Trade Descriptions Act. The reason, the ingredients did not actually contain hedgehog in them, and so the crisps had to be taken off sale for a couple of years. When they returned, on the buzzer is Ayush. Yes, Ayush, please answer.
Say possum.
Possum, I'm afraid that is incorrect. That's a -5. I will continue with my question. So the crisps had to be taken off sale for a couple of years. When they returned, what grammatical change did they make in the name to avoid any legal obligation for the product to contain hedgehogs? So they came back, rebranded it with some grammatical change, which meant that there was no legal obligation for the product to contain hedgehogs. Anybody trying? Nobody, right? So the answer wasn't possum, Ayush. So it's not like they changed hedgehogs to possums as ingredients. So that's incorrect there, Ayush. That's a -5. Just had to work out this answer only by sheer understanding of the English grammar and not so much of whether or not you've read this factoid or trivia. The answer that I was looking for, they changed it from hedgehog flavored crisps to hedgehog flavor crisps, which means it doesn't really need to have hedgehog, which originally, the British Office of Fair Trade thought that because they were breaching the Trade Descriptions Act. So the description doesn't involve the word that it is flavored with hedgehogs anymore, because it wasn't anyway to begin with. And in fact, they wanted to highlight that, let's say hedgehogs are cute, non-people animals, so that was fun. Anyway, so they changed it to flavor. So this is hedgehog flavor crisps. No points, anyone. -5 to Ayush for giving a wrong answer. We'll move on now to our next question. But before that, you have F revealed as the opening alphabet of your 3 down. You can't see 3 there, but it basically is the F of flavor. So I need you to tell me what is the answer that begins with the letter F. All right, here is your question. I'm looking for the dish. In the last 5 years of his life, Elvis Presley's weight had increased to 160 kg. On the buzzer is Jayakanthan from TCS. Yes, Jayakanthan?
I'm guessing this is fool's gold. It's customs.
Guessing this is
fool's gold.
Fool's gold. You were only guessing and you did not decide to. Oh, the grimace, the grimace. Right, my question. In the last 5 years of his life, Elvis Presley's weight had increased to 160 kg as he was said to be on a brutal 10,000 to 12,000 calorie diet. Among his favorite food was a Denver restaurant's XY loaf made of 1 jar, and hear this, 1 jar of creamy peanut butter, 1 jar of grape jelly, and a pound of bacon, approximately 8,000 calories, alluding to an abundant natural resource in the vicinity, which is Colorado, Denver. From what nickname of iron disulfide does this sandwich get its name? Jayakanthan thought that he guessed this was fool's gold, and the answer that I have with me is indeed fool's gold. Such a huge fan that Elvis was of fool's gold was that he would take a flight overnight, sometimes with his friends, just to go to Denver in his private jet, order this fool's gold loaf, and perhaps he really enjoyed it. Right, we lost Elvis at the age of 42, but he really loved his food. Right, so this is indeed fool's gold, Jayakanthan. Because you didn't double as a result, it means that you get a +5 only. I hope that doesn't trouble you too much when we take a look at the final scores. We move on now to our next question. Will be 4 across, starts with the letter A, ends with the letter O. Here is your question. What project connects? What project connects? There are a lot of visuals, lots of logos of companies. I'm looking for a project, starts with the alphabet, ends with the alphabet O, and the answer will come from the person whose alphabet starts with A, Ayush.
I'll double this.
All right.
Apollo.
Tell me more.
Apollo, the space project. So I can see the earlier logo of Boeing and tires, and so these may be the Northrop Grumman. So these may be the companies involved in the US NASA space project Apollo.
All right, so your answer is Apollo. Let's take a look at the answer, and the fact that you doubled means you get 10. Absolutely there, Ayush. So these were all companies that were part of the Apollo program, more specifically Apollo 11, North American Aviation, Northrop Grumman, Rocketdyne, IBM, Douglas Aircraft Company, General Motors, Westinghouse, Whirlpool, Goodyear, ILC, Dover, all of them involved in helping the Apollo 11 program become successful. That's well done there, Ayush. That gets you 10 points because you doubled. That's very good. Right, we move on now to our second last question. But before that, it's a 7-letter answer. The fourth alphabet is L. Fourth alphabet is L. Here is your question. One of the parents in the joint venture, said to be the most important company you've never heard of. This is a 37-year-old, $300 billion plus company that calls itself the world's supplier to the industry while having a near monopoly. At the forefront of the US-China tech Cold War, which 130-year-old Eindhoven company was its co-founder along with ASMI. On the buzzer is Jameer from Q Collective. Yes, Jameer?
I'd like to double it.
All right.
It's Philips.
It's Philips. And what is this company?
I don't know about that.
You don't know about this company, and what industry would this be?
Electronics. Like you said, Eindhoven.
I said Eindhoven, and perhaps which is why you said Philips. But do you have a guess on the industry that this has a near monopoly in? At the forefront of US-China tech Cold War. Come on, Jameer, work a little. Earn your 10.
Semiconductors or something.
Semiconductors. All right, let's take a look. That's the answer that I was looking for. So this is ASML, Advanced Semiconductor Materials Limited. It was founded as a joint venture by Philips alongside Advanced Semiconductor Materials International, ASMI, and the Eindhoven company, founded in Eindhoven. I think they've changed their headquarters, and I think their headquarters are now in Amsterdam. But they were founded in Eindhoven over 130 years, specifically 130 years ago in 1891. Yeah, so based out of Eindhoven, this is indeed Philips, which means, Jameer, you get a plus 10. Very good. And now we move on to our final question of the Hindu Cerebration Corporate Quiz 2021, played amidst the finest of 6 quizzers from across the country, only by the fact that they were winners from their regional rounds. It was their lucky day, and of course, it wasn't totally because of the luck that they brought along with themselves on their respective day of regional rounds, but also because they had a fair bit of baggage of preparation and smartness and intelligence, and at least in some of use cases, a bit of humor. That certainly makes my job easy. So I really appreciate that. Right, here is your final question, but before that, let me place Philips. Right, so it's 6 across. The second alphabet is O. Here is your question. Read the hint very carefully. I'm looking for a surname that's not his. I'm looking for a surname that's not his. He has been named best in the business 10 times out of the last 11 years and is thus included in an unofficial list that goes by the prefix super. He, along with few other supers, created a forum and attempt to unionize in 2019 when the global entity that governs his business interests attempted to curb their power and influence. What? For the sake of the buzzer and the crossword, so essentially, who is the subject? That's the surname that I'm looking for. So what is his most recent? Right, on the buzzer first is Jayakanthan. Yes, Jayakanthan, your answer. Surname, that's not his. Jayakanthan, I need an answer.
Yeah, I'll double it. Ronaldo.
Surname, that's not his. You're saying Ronaldo. What does that mean? Why?
So I'm guessing this is something to do with Ronaldo's transfer, right? Which was just in the news. He must be the guy who negotiated it.
He must be the guy who negotiated. And if I'm not wrong, you doubled?
Correct.
All right, I will complete my question. So what is his most recent is all that you heard. Had you waited for one more word, my next word was, what is his most recent homebound deal in the tune of $30 million, but considers amortization from a previous deal? Your answer is Ronaldo. Let's take a look if that is indeed the answer is correct. Ronaldo, ladies and gentlemen, is back, and that means Jayakanthan there gets a +10. Absolutely good answer there, Jayakanthan. It is indeed a 10er. We'll take a look at the scores, but let me talk a bit more about this question. But before that, I missed out. The previous question was sponsored by our partners, Manage Engine. My apologies, just missed that out. They worked really hard. We worked really hard to bring this quiz to all of you. So I cannot miss out on the opportunity to acknowledge their contribution. So thank you to Manage Engine for bringing to us that last question. But this one is indeed Cristiano Ronaldo. The person whose visual I gave you was Jorge Mendes, who's his longtime agent. And the answer, of course, is Cristiano Ronaldo's move to Manchester United. That materialized. It's not even been a day, materialized yesterday. And why are we not particularly thrilled about that? I think that calls for some fireworks. So there is some fireworks. Bear with me, there should be more fireworks and some more, because Ronaldo is back. And I'm not sure why I'm too happy about this. I'm not a Manchester United supporter, so we'll just move on. Right, so that fills in our crossword. That brings an end to what has been a wonderful season of quizzing, not just the national final. That participants appropriately was the full-time whistle. This was a grueling yet glorious grand finale of the Hindu BusinessLine Cerebration Corporate Quiz 2021. Our participants were sitting galaxies apart, but were brought together by their love for quizzing. Days like today become memorable because of what history does to them, and history will remember today as the day when reputations were made and frontiers were conquered. As we take a look for the final time this season at the scoreboard. All right, I am being told that there is a tie. Okay, so the scoreboard can wait a little. Let us resolve the tie first. And this is a tie between Jameer from Kochi and Shantanu from Mumbai. All right, Jameer and Shantanu. I have to tell you that there is a tie, and I also have to tell you that we will resolve the tie. All right, Jameer and Shantanu, I would request the others to please not press the buzzer. We will play this tiebreaker as a sudden death and over buzzers. Essentially, simple rules. I will ask you a question. So you have to tell me whether it is true or false. It will not appear on screen. If you answer the statement, I don't need you to give me an explanation. All right. I don't need you to give me an explanation. If you want to go for it 50-50, absolutely go for it. Not my, it doesn't matter to me. +1 and -1 is what you get. All right. As simple as that.
How many statements? 1.
Sudden death. If I don't have a tiebreaker closed, then I'll ask another, and I'll ask another, till I finally ask you, today is a Saturday in India. Right? Hopefully then you will press the buzzer and give me the right answer. So here is my question, common to Jameer and Shantanu. So Jameer and Shantanu, here is my question. I will tell you what exactly is the thing that is true or false. I will describe it to you first, but feel free to hit the buzzer whenever. The first such tax was introduced in 9 CE by Emperor Augustus. It was called the Lex Papilla Papaya. In 1695, we have Shantanu who's gone for it on the buzzer. True or false?
I'll say false.
You will say false. In 1695, the English Parliament passed the tax to raise funds for war on France. The tax raised little revenue and was abolished in 1706. Even Mussolini enacted the tax, but it lasted only 16 years. The tax in question is bachelor tax that Oscar Wilde supported, for he felt some people were happier than others. Before I declare, Jameer, if you had to give the answer, what would you have said?
I think it's true. I don't give a wrong question.
Sorry, what are you saying? True or false? What would you have said? I don't need an explanation.
I would have gone with true.
You would have said true? All right. That would have kept you in good stead because congratulations, Jameer. That is correct. Right. So that's the answer that I was looking for. -1 there to Shantanu. It is indeed bachelor tax as the answer, as the statement was true. And I was basically describing bachelor tax. Oscar Wilde supported because he said, there should be a bachelor tax because it shouldn't be that, some rich people should be happier than others, right? So that was Oscar Wilde, and good answer. Sorry, unfortunately, Shantanu, you gave me a wrong answer, which means you get a -1. We will tell you what the final standings are as we take a look at the final scoreboard. Let's call upon our participant who finished third. We saw him prevailing in the tiebreaker that I just conducted. He had a wonderful quiz through and through in the regional rounds. He had a wonderful quiz at Kochi, and second runner-up in the Hindu Cerebration Corporate Quiz 2021 comes from Kochi, and this is Jameer. That's well done there, Jameer. Congratulations for finishing third. Jameer from Q Collective. You also collect a prize of rupees 25,000. That's wonderful. Third place, second runner-up in our national final. Moving on now, with that wonderful and a very important answer that he gave as the very last one when I said surname, not his. He got that one absolutely spot on. He answered Cristiano Ronaldo's most recent move, yesterday's move to Manchester United, which means he got a +10 because he doubled, and he prevailed by 5 points over Jameer and Shantanu, who were then tied at the third place, which means our first runner-up in the Hindu BusinessLine Cerebration Corporate Quiz 2021 is Jayakanthan from TCS. That's well done there, Jayakanthan. Lovely performance right from the very beginning and till the very end, till the very last question. It was really needed for you because if you were really vying for that second spot, because third wasn't available, there were others who were tied at second spot, then you prevailed over them by giving Ronaldo. As a result, you finished second, first runner-up. Congratulations, Jayakanthan. You collect a prize of rupees 50,000. Well done. And finally, our winner for the day, a performance that was much better, might I add, in the national final than it was in the regional round, where he prevailed because somebody else decided to hit the buzzer and give a wrong answer. And so he hit the buzzer and gave the right answer, as a result of which he made his way through to the national final. But today, as consistent as I initially compared his performance with, he kept batting on and on, kept giving answers on and on till the very end. Ladies and gentlemen, the Hindu BusinessLine Cerebration Corporate Quiz 2021 national champion is our tech consultant from Bangalore. This is Yogesa Metla. So wonderful performances, all our champions. Yogesa Metla, you collect a cool prize of rupees 75,000. Yogesa, you can smile wider than that. You've given us lots more reasons to smile with our wit and humor, and I'm at loss of words why you're not that happy now, especially when you have deeper pockets. But that's well done, Yogesa. Thank you so very much for participating, all of you. Thank you so very much to our winners. Congratulations to each one of you. In order, Jameer from Q Collective, Jayakanthan from TCS, and of course, Yogesa Metla from as a tech consultant. Right. That's a wrap. A wonderful display of knowledge, composure, and experience, bringing curtains to yet another season. And so, may I now invite one more time Mr. Suresh Balakrishna, Chief Revenue Officer, the Hindu Group, to deliver a vote of thanks. Sir, please.
Wow, that was some quiz. Congrats to the winners. And we are very happy at the Business Line that we have been able to successfully complete our 18th edition of this quiz. It has been virtual this year, and therefore it has taken us a lot of effort to put this together. But thank you, all our readers, and thank you, all of you, for tuning in and being with us right through the quiz, for making this quiz a grand success. This success wouldn't have happened without our sponsors. They're singularly responsible for making sure that we're able to bring this to you year after year without fail. I'd like to first start by thanking our title sponsor, Union Bank, our powered by partner, CFA Institute, and of course, our associate partners, Manage Engine and BSE IPF. Our television partner is NewsX. You know, as difficult as it is to answer these questions, even asking these questions can be very, very difficult. And for that, we have to thank Ajay Punia from Cryptic, who's put together all the rounds, all the elimination rounds, and even the final. So thank you, Cryptic, for having done this. Thank you, our readers, and good luck to everybody. We will see you again next year. Till then, be safe and God bless.
Thank you, sir. Glad you enjoyed it, and I thoroughly relished contributing my bit too. So that's a wrap, a wonderful display, like I said, of knowledge, composure, and experience, bringing curtains to yet another season, the 18th annual edition of this great quiz. And one final time, a big thank you to our partners, the title sponsor, Union Bank of India. The program was powered by CFA Institute. It was brought to you in association with Manage Engine and our associate partner, BSE IPF. And thank you is in order to all our viewers. Thank you for tuning in every time, episode after episode. On behalf of the team here at the Hindu Business Line Cerebration Corporate Quiz 2021, this is Ajay Punia, leaving you with a promise to garnish the next season with more tension, more action, and lots more passion. Until we meet again, goodbye.